Welcome back to the No Clue Podcast, episode 190. We are back. I'm one of your hosts. I'm Mike.
And I'm Tyler. Welcome. We're back.
Week 4 of the NFL.
Week 4, yes. Had a lot of matchups that, teams playing probably the same tier this weekend. I think Vikings and Saints should be in the same tier. Browns, Falcons are around the same. Very equal games, equal playing field kind of games this weekend, I would say. Ravens and Bills, two very solid teams. Jags,
matchup
Eagles.
of AFC heavyweights.
Yeah. Let's start with there. Let's start with that first. Ravens came into this game 2-1. Bills also 2-1. Correct?
Yes.
The Ravens' loss was to Miami, and that was spearheaded by a amazing second half from Miami that blew the Ravens off the field basically in the second half. So one would think that the Ravens would stop that from happening again. But basically the same thing happened. Very similar, at least.
Yeah, I mean, Buffalo didn't look as explosive as Miami did, where Miami was picking up touchdowns in like two, 3 plays.
Yeah.
But the Ravens,
Buffalo was getting down the field very easily, though. I mean, when they needed to.
Yeah, man. The Ravens defense, like, something is seriously wrong.
Yeah. I don't know what they do at halftime, but for some reason at halftime they come out like a completely different team and a worse team, not a better team.
Yeah, man. And it's not like they're like missing so many guys. A lot of their guys have come back since the first couple weeks, and their defense is kind of getting worse.
It is. It absolutely is. And listen, Lamar didn't have a fantastic game. He had a good game, but he had them up in the first half.
I know.
And somewhat comfortably. So for the defense to come out second half and play that bad and for Lamar not to be able to score again, it's just a mess. For them to be even in the last possession that the Ravens had that has shocked the world, taken the world by storm. The interception was a bad interception, really bad. But for the defense to let them just go straight down the field after that is just, I just don't get it.
It's such a weird situation because I think Harbaugh was totally wrong to go for it.
Yeah. Like,
to me, the way the game is going, again, it's not like it's Miami where they're just touchdown. Like you have to put up points to match it.
Right.
Like you're still controlling the game. The Bills are still struggling to come back.
Yeah.
And you don't take the points. Like, but you're essentially ahead of time saying, yeah, my defense is horrible, so I'm not going to put pressure on Buffalo. I'm going to, like, try to go for the kill.
I understand. I would have went for it, but I just don't know why you throw it. Why did they throw that?
Why did he drop back like Tom Brady? Baltimore, what the hell?
Lamar easily could have ran that in. I mean, it was open. The whole left side of the field was wide open. If he had turned and just ran left, he would have had it. But I'm with you. If we were gonna do a passing play, I would say just kick it in. There's no point. We don't need a passing play where, what was it, on the 6? The 5?
5. I mean, I don't mind a passing play, but like, can we get something more than just a drop back?
Yeah, true.
Like, he's not Justin Herbert.
Action would have worked.
Nobody's confusing him for Justin Herbert or like Aaron Rodgers.
And he doesn't have the receivers that are like that can just stand there and catch something over people.
He
Like,
doesn't have
you know,
Cooper Kupp, who's just open all the time.
right. Or guys you could throw it up to that'll go sky up to get it, like, you know, like
Yeah.
Julio or somebody like that. You just don't have the kind of roster for that kind of play at the end of the game to determine the game.
And to your point, man, like Harbaugh turned out to be so right because the defense was let him go 90 yards easily.
Exactly.
Shoot up the
Exactly.
clock, picked up first downs without problems.
Yeah.
I'm just like, dude, god damn, like, okay, even if you would have gone to overtime though.
Right.
So again, and the Buffalo would have had more pressure to come down and get points.
Mm-hmm.
Do you stop them the way it looked? Probably not.
Right.
But to keep the game tied because you gambled for a touchdown, that was just a bad idea to me.
Yeah, it was a bad idea. It was high reward, low risk.
Shootout decision in a close game that's both teams are struggling.
Yeah. Well, it was high reward, high risk. So I get the reward, but it was still a high risk situation, especially when the defense was playing like it was in the second half. And for the defense to play so well in the first half, that's the part I don't understand. Lamar plays about the same the whole game. For the defense to look elite in the first half and look trash in the second half just does not make sense.
It really doesn't. It
doesn't make sense.
I can't remember a time in the last like 10, 15 years where that's been a thing for any side of the ball for a team.
This is definitely the first time I've ever seen it that blatant that the second half on one side of the field sucks for a team that's good.
Crazy.
That looks like the best team in the league every first half they play. So, and they have probably the leading
2-2 now,
MVP
right?
candidate. Yeah.
I mean, like they should be absolutely sick that they're not 4-0.
Yeah.
I mean, look at how
Absolutely.
much control the Eagles have just record-wise, just because they're still undefeated.
This is the most teams that are 2-2 since I forgot what year they said it this morning, but something crazy. Like this is the most teams that have been 2-2 tied for like however many years in years.
And don't get me wrong, I love that, but to me, it's gonna hurt more at the end of the year for the AFC when you're looking down your schedule and you had 3 to 4 games that you blew.
Yeah, I don't love it because it's going to create parity that shouldn't be there. Like, I don't want to see the Seahawks have a chance to get to the Super Bowl or the playoffs. I don't even want to see it. I don't want them to even have a chance. And they are going to have a chance.
Yeah.
Or the Bears, or, I mean, no disrespect to the Seahawks, the Jets, any of these teams that are 2-2 right now, pretty much. I don't want to see them.
Fluky 2-2.
Yeah, that's the problem right there, the flukes.
No, I mean, nice, I think another month will even it out a little bit.
Yeah.
Like the Jets aren't gonna. If they go 4-0, I'll be just in utter shock.
For next month.
Yeah, if they go 2-2, I'll be impressed. To be honest.
Me too.
But some of the teams, like I mean, the Giants have had an easy ass schedules to be 3-1.
3-1, baby. Let's keep it up. Keep it up, fellas.
So I don't know.
The Bears are terrible.
They look horrible.
Yeah. And they're 2-2. So yeah. But good game from Saquon. He looked like the best running back in the league, which talent-wise he might be. He just doesn't have as many carries or the rest of the team's good as some of the other guys. But
I'm gonna be honest. I want to see Daniel Jones run the ball more.
I'd rather see him run it than pass it. I can tell you that.
He looks decent running the ball, like more and more every week. Like wow, like it's a struggle game. Jones is out here picking up first downs with his legs all the time.
Hey, if I have to choose, I'm picking him running it every time. I'd rather him run it every single time.
The way he throws, I understand.
Yeah. Yeah. We have to talk about Tua.
Yes.
Thursday. So yeah, Thursday game.
Big win for the Bengals to get the 2-2, by the way.
Huge win. Yeah. I mean, they kind of got lucky, but huge win. Tua got pushed down in the previous game last Sunday and came up stumbling, loss of balance, severe loss of balance, made it through concussion protocol, returned to the game. And in this game, he gets knocked out in the game. So it's scary because a lot of people don't know what concussion protocol is like. A lot of people who have never been athletes don't know what they actually do for concussion protocol. And it is a very easy thing to fake. I'm not saying he did that, but now a lot of players are coming out saying that they faked it in order to lower their baseline so they can play games when they do get a concussion, so they can pass the concussion protocol. And having done it and having had to do concussion protocol once, I can understand that being very easy, especially on their level. But they have to do something with the concussions, man, because if he was really concussed and played within 5 days of the last game, it's a serious problem.
That's the crazy thing to me. Like, we're first month into the season.
Yeah.
To me, the Dolphins have the luxury of saying, like, we're competitive enough to go to the Bengals with Bridgewater and put up a fight.
Yeah.
And to just force him out there, like, like you said, 4 days. If it was a week, I wouldn't be as kind of shocked by this that he was playing.
Yeah, or if they had the Monday night game.
Right.
I would get it. Sunday to Monday, that's great.
But Sunday to Thursday, that's quick for a guy who banged his head and wobbled.
Yeah. And not to blame him, but he has to stop falling like that. Like most players don't let the back of their head hit the ground, even if they do get pushed down. Like, it's just, that's the one thing. A lot of people will go like this if they're falling back like that. He let his head and neck snap like that. It's not.
Yeah, dude, whiplash like that, you're putting yourself in danger all the time.
Yeah, and I know when I say this, I'm not saying this to blame him at all. I'm just saying a lot of players actually do get taught how to fall. Like that's a real thing. So if he needs to go through that training or learn how to fall to avoid this, because every other quarterback has been getting hit this season. No other quarterback has had 2 concussion scares.
Hey, Joe Burrow been getting murdered his whole NFL career so far.
Right. 2 concussions in 4 games. And not saying he got the concussion, but he had a concussion scare in 4 games. No one else has done that.
Yeah.
So it has to say, okay, well, Tua, why are you getting concussed and no one else in 2 different games? Or have to go through concussion protocol in 2 games and nobody else has. So that comes down on the team, and they fired their neurologist or the guy who
cleared
that,
him essentially.
Right. So
it just to me, especially for a sport like football, there's no, again, we're in the first month of the season. I'd understand this risk if we're like, fighting for a playoff spot or we're in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But this is a situation you have to take extra precaution.
Yeah.
And I just feel like they could have.
I agree with you.
Because that's the fear. It's not getting a concussion, because that happens in a lot of contact sports. Yeah. It's getting a concussion soon after again. Like, that's when you could ruin your career in a moment's notice.
Yeah. Especially someone that they pay him, and someone that they put as much confidence in as him. They need to take care of their investment.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen teams in critical situations not prioritize the player, and it comes back to haunt them, like with RG3.
Yeah.
That was a playoff game, so I can understand you wanting to force, leave him in the game. But at the same time, he's injured.
Right.
And you made his injury that much longer the next year. I don't even think he played the next year.
I don't think he did. I think you're right.
So, and he really wasn't the same after that at all.
No, he wasn't.
So this is like a tough situation, man. And I would just like to see the NFL, or at least the organizations, like not prioritize wins every week.
Yeah.
When it comes to health.
I agree, man. And I remember 2 years ago, maybe they were talking about limiting the amount of games players could play. So like the team has 18 games, but players can only play 14, which I thought that was a really, really good idea. Because like you have 60 guys on the roster. Why do just only your starters have to play every game?
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense. If your team is that good, you could stagger it off, say, hey, he's not playing this game. We got good competition. Because these guys go through a lot, man. It's a lot on the bodies for 18 games,
that's why
especially if
a lot
you're
of them
expecting him to perform every game.
I know. And a lot of them were hesitant for that extra game to come in.
Yeah.
Because football's hard, man. Like you're spending most of the week recovering from the game anyway.
Yeah. And it would give more guys more opportunities to guys to get a better name for themselves that are second string, third string guys.
Yeah. It make teams better, to be honest.
It would, because they would put more stock into their backups.
Right.
And now it's just you just get a backup basically off the street, that someone that everybody has used and thrown away already.
Yeah.
To just say, hey, we're gonna work our quarterback to death and you might get in, so just be ready, just in case. So
yeah.
But they won't do that probably because they pay these guys way too much already.
And I think Miami, like now Tua could sit out an extra week or two. There's no problem. Like even if we go 0-3 with Bridgewater, there's no way we're not going to be competitive in most of those games.
Yeah, they definitely can lose 2 games. And they have enough room to lose 2 games. So at least 2 weeks you got to.
And it's a good opportunity for their coach to prove himself too.
It is. Yeah. And his leadership after this incident in general. All right. Cowboys. The rush hour, as Michael Irvin called it. The rush hour is here.
I like that.
That's hard.
I like that.
Super Rush is eating quarterbacks alive. He's out here killing them, bro.
You know what it is?
So
he's just not making mistakes. That's like, it's making all the average quarterbacks look so horrible.
I know, yeah, it is.
Like he's making accurate throws, which is impressive. But you know, all these guys that are guaranteed starters on some occasion do that.
Yeah.
The problem
is
he's showing that he's reading the plays really well.
He is, and again, Zeke has stepped up. Like other players have stepped up to actually play how they're supposed to be playing.
Yes.
I mean, their defense looks fantastic, but it's been looking fantastic. It looked fantastic since the preseason. But their offense, I can't believe how much of their offense is stepping up, finally. And they were nowhere to be found when Dak is quarterbacking.
I know.
It's not just leadership.
This whole situation, man, Dak's leadership looks worse and worse. And that was his biggest thing, is how much of a leader he is, how much of a locker room guy he is. And like you said, the guys are more productive. They seem to be playing harder. The team seems to be in sync. All of a sudden, their coaching looks elite.
It does, out of nowhere.
What the hell is going on?
Yeah.
I'm really like, Dak, take your fucking time, dude. Don't you dare come back and not be able to grip the ball 100%, because that's some bullshit.
Right. Right.
Cowboys they might be in a mess late in the year in a good and bad way.
How long before Wentz is done playing NFL football?
They'll force him as a backup next year, I'm sure.
XFL, man. Call his manager. See what he's up
Nah, I
to.
can see him
See
backing up
where
somewhere,
his head is at.
but he
He would be fun
sucks.
in the XFL though. It would be cool to. It would be cool for them to finally have some.
No,
Uh, you know.
not him. Like I get the thought, the idea. Like he's exciting. He tries to make plays, but he
Yeah.
plays like an idiot. Like he flat out. That's
So he
literally
wouldn't be. He
the
wouldn't be
only
cool in the
position
XFL
on
because
the
he's.
in sports. I don't want a guy playing dumb.
So he wouldn't be cool in the XFL because he's sucks
He just makes
because
like
he's so bad.
the give up mistakes. Like the fuck, dude. Like, why did I work so hard for this? You know what I mean? They run the ball well, like every week for no reason at all.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
run the maybe not well, but they run the ball decently every week, and it's for no reason at all, bro. Just for Wentz to hold the ball, your receivers aren't open. What are you holding the ball for?
For him to get more not open so he could throw it to the other team.
Bro, at least with like Joe Burrow, you could look at his contemporaries who are getting sacked a lot, like Wentz is.
Yeah.
In all the situations, I can make a case that like he's looking downfield, he's looking for the number one threat, he's trying to spark the offense because there's no spark. I mean, with Wentz, there's no spark, and he's killing what little spark they generate all the time.
Yeah, it is amazing.
Dude,
It's
he
crazy.
loses more fumbles than Daniel Jones. Good God.
What do you think Doug Peterson does watching Wentz now? Watching Wentz stink it up for the Commanders.
I'm a good coach because I had people fooled.
He's so bad.
I
So
mean,
bad.
honestly, I don't understand Wentz, dude. I like that MVP year was great. That, border MVP year, but he
Yeah.
learned nothing.
No, he didn't.
How? And he's years later, that was 3 years ago. He's learned nothing still.
Was it only 3 years ago?
It might have been more.
I can't remember, but yeah, I mean,
Bro, his
it's crazy.
stats were decent, and the Colts like publicly disowned him.
Yeah.
And he's coming in the fucking Commanders doing the same dumb shit.
Yeah, because his stats don't always look bad when compared to like you watching it and how bad he plays.
Yes.
He plays worse than his stats look all the time.
Yes, all the time, dude. He has no composure in the pocket. That's why he takes so much punishment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So again, I'm not defending the Commanders because their line does suck, and their defense I thought would be good. They got all these like great picks, all these great draft picks.
Yeah.
And they can't stop Zeke. Tony Pollard. I mean, you're getting killed by some of the NFC teams that actually commit to running the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, the Eagles already killed you, so
Yep. Moving on. Giants spanked the Bears. I'm not surprised by that. I'm glad. The Eagles and Jaguars was a good matchup on paper. And it started out, the Jaguars looked really good in the first half. The Eagles looked a little bit they just weren't all there in the first half. And in the second half, Jalen Hurts his leadership just took over the game.
yeah. He's right in that MVP leadership.
Yeah. And they ran the ball like crazy.
Dude,
Myles Sanders at 134 yards.
Yeah. I like him a lot.
Yeah, 27 carries.
That's one thing the Eagles do so much better than the Ravens and Bills. Mm-hmm. Like they run the ball not just because their quarterback is athletic.
Right.
They use that to actually open up their run game, which I would expect the Bills and Ravens to be able to do.
Mm-hmm.
But they often don't.
Ravens they need a consistent running back. a consistently good running back
Yeah.
eventually. See, Chiefs and Bucks. That was the big matchup. Mahomes versus Brady. That's become the highlight matchup of the league. It seems like because the new goat versus the old goat. The Bucks just still aren't all the way there, man. There's just still. It seems like they're still missing. I mean, most of everyone is there, but it feels like they're missing guys. Um, their defense is a little bit weak. I mean, and it don't matter how good your defense is against Mahomes. It really doesn't matter. But their defense looked a little bit weak to me. They're just kind of like discombobulated right now.
I don't disagree, but to be honest, like I look at this situation as the best team probably the most explosive team in the NFL came in off of a horrible loss.
Horrible.
Like full of mistakes, just bad decisions from the stars, the coaches.
Yeah.
So they were locked in for this.
They were. They definitely were.
I mean, meanwhile, Tampa Bay's beat the hell.
Yeah, exactly.
Every time I watch them, somebody's out. We're stopping the game because somebody's got to come out. Somebody's limping off. Somebody's getting carted into the fucking locker room.
They're old too. There's a lot of old guys on there.
Tom Brady, and they've been like scrapping more, getting like in altercations. I feel like more on the field. I swear they're reflecting Tom Brady's personality like entirely.
Yeah, they are. They are a little bit.
So I'm not stressed about them again. I still think they need they're gonna need half the year to get healthy.
Yeah.
If they could stay like 4-4 and then in their first 8, I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. They should be. To your point, Chiefs still are the best team in the league.
Yeah.
Regardless of losing Hill, regardless of whoever else they lost, they're still the best team in the league. They have the best quarterback in the league.
Best quarterback. That's best team. There's a lot of rosters that are making me really look like, maybe the Chiefs aren't so unstoppable roster wise.
Yeah.
But when you have the best quarterback, that's a tough separation.
The best quarterback and tight end combo in the league.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. And then adding Juju to that, who for some reason I feel like when Juju was on Steelers, like his first 2 years, they were considering him possibly being one of the best receivers in the league. Then, after the dancing and the videotape in the locker room stuff happened.
Yeah.
Like people forgot that he's still a top 5 talent or top 10 talent receiver in the league. Like they act like, oh, he's not good anymore because his off the field stuff is.
He got trashed a lot because his production declined when Ben fell off a cliff.
Yeah.
And it was like Juju sucks. Like, dude, do you not see what Big Ben is doing? He could barely get the ball 10 yards upfield.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And it was just nothing he could have did about that.
Juju needed this. He could have went anywhere that opens up the field. On the Bengals, he would have been lethal, just like he is with the Chiefs.
Yeah. Yeah. So he looks great. And the rest of the team is this is great. They have so many guys that there's just so many threats. Everyone is an equal threat. I'm never surprised by the names I see. Yeah, me too. Yeah. He's great. Really, really good running back. I never get surprised by the names I see in their stats, whether it's Valdez-Scantling or McKinnon or obviously Hardman. They just have so many guys that can take over a game receiving wise. And really none of them get enough credit just because Kelsey is so raw.
And you know what? Mahomes trusts guys. Like when guys make mistakes, when they drop a touchdown, he's not ghosting them the rest of the game like some quarterbacks do.
Yeah, he doesn't. He doesn't do that at all. And you can tell he puts a lot of time in with these guys.
Yeah.
You remember when LeBron went and took each player to the gym individually and asked them which hand they want to catch the ball in and
Yeah.
which foot they want to step forward and where on their
Yeah.
chest.
I remember
feel like
that. They
I feel
saw
like Mahomes does that with
yeah.
his team.
It was I don't remember what year this was, but wherever LeBron was playing at this time, I think they signed like a shooter.
It was
Or
Corver. It was
was it with
Cleveland when they
Corver?
first got
Okay, yeah.
Corver, yeah.
And he was like, I'm
Yeah.
already studying like where he wants the ball, how he comes. I was like, dude, okay.
Whatever.
I like it.
Yeah.
It sounds
And
good. I like it.
I feel like Mahomes, every quarterback should do that, but I feel like Mahomes does that to a different level.
Yeah.
Because I can tell with each one of his receiver, there's they have their own connection. Opposed to saying, oh yeah, everyone just likes Mahomes. Like Mahomes and Hardman have their own connection. Him and Valdez, Scantling have their own connection, and so on. So yeah. I always got a kick out of that too. Like Corver's been playing basketball for 15 years. It doesn't matter.
Like, bro, if of all the
Top
shooters
5
in
shooter
the league,
ever.
Corver does not need a specific spot to catch the fucking ball.
Exactly. Where is his hot spot? And
Jeff Teague was throwing him trash kickouts for years. He was knocking him down. Like he was an all-star. He was an all-star being a spot up, like a runaround shooting threat.
Yeah, getting passes from Millsap and Jeff Teague.
Yeah, dude.
Okay, the Monday night game.
Yeah.
Are the Rams shot for the year, or do you think the Rams are gonna kick it up mid-year, like everyone is saying? They don't look good at all. Like it's different if they were really in all their games, like if there was really good games. But
That's why I'm still, I look at Tampa Bay and I still see like an offense that could be explosive, a defense that could shut most quarterbacks down. I'll give you a pass from Mahomes. Like that's fine.
Yeah, no one can shut Mahomes down.
Right.
So.
But to me, like you said with the Rams, they look horrible.
And the teams that they beat, they're barely beaten.
Bro,
they beat the Falcons by 4.
I'd say they have the worst running game in the league.
That's really bad.
Like, bro, their running back fumbled in that opening the Bills game to start the year. And McVay like abandoned the run ever since.
Mm-hmm.
They don't do it a lot. They don't like really do anything creative running the ball.
Yeah.
And I mean, Matthew Stafford looks shot.
He does out of nowhere.
They
like
lied.
He partied all summer.
They blatantly lied the whole training camp and preseason about like, oh, we're just like, we don't want to force him. There's no reason for him to play. Like everything is fine. He'll be ready to go. He doesn't look ready to go.
No, he doesn't.
His passes look weak as hell. He's staring down Cooper Kupp like nobody else exists.
Right.
And I know Higbee had a lot of targets, but that's because they were doubling Kupp the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
Which is exactly what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
But like they're not even running big chunk plays all the time. They'll run screen passes like over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
And Kupp is so good, he picks up yards anyway.
Yeah.
But I'm watching this game and I literally like maybe 10 throws before that pick six. I'm thinking like, man, they're running that screen to Kupp way too fucking much. And like their offense isn't really doing anything else. There's no other dynamic. Like the Niners are eventually going to see this shit coming.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, safety cheats the fucking play, pick six. Because he knew damn well Matthew Stafford wasn't going anywhere else with the ball.
No. He's becoming, just force it to Kupp kind of player.
Yeah.
And even with all the weapons that they have, it doesn't make any sense.
Dude, it really doesn't. Like Higbee is really good. I mean, like all I heard the whole training camp and preseason was how good Allen Robinson looked.
Right.
We're not even targeting him for throws over like 5 yards.
Right.
I can't even be mad at him because when he's open, it's a 3-yard strike. Meanwhile, Cooper Kupp is double covered 15 yards down the field, and Stafford is gunning it out to him.
Mm-hmm.
Stafford is really the who looks the worst here to me. Like, I think
okay.
their defense will have them beating all the bad teams they play.
Right. That's true.
So their record won't be horrible.
Just from the names that they have on the defense, too.
Right. But their offense is just not it. And I don't really
Do
see it getting much better.
Do you put any of it on McVay?
Honestly, no, because they were like this last year with running the ball. Like, they just didn't do it.
Right.
And Stafford was taking advantage of the weapons so well. They were still explosive.
Have they really ran the ball well since Gurley left there?
Since Gurley fucked up his knee, it's been the run game has been in shambles.
Gurley's not even in the league anymore, is he?
He might be sitting somewhere, but I don't know.
It's kind of crazy. He was just like one of the best running backs in the league like 4 years ago. Yeah. All right. Well, I don't have any more for football. Do you?
Niners looked really physical. I like, they were committed to running the ball, unlike fucking Rams.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, Debo looked great. He had huge plays.
Another team that needed to get
good.
to 2-2 and handled business.
They did, especially with the quarterback issues that they've been having. I should say issues, but everything they've been trying to do with the quarterback situation, but it's paying off right now.
I can't believe they lost to the Bears week 1. Like, looking back at how dominant they were yesterday, I'm like, dude, really? You couldn't. Wow. Like, even if Trey Lance sucks, why did you not run the ball 5 times?
Their organization is doing something weird to me with Trey Lance because their team is kind of in a win now situation. I think as far as like how their roster is good enough to win now. I just don't know why you'd go with a quarterback that needed time when you have a bunch of guys that don't need any time or really can't even afford time.
They look kind of cocky, to be honest with you, because they like sacrificed assets to move up to get him.
Yeah.
So, like you said, we don't really see teams do this when they're in win now mode.
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
like they've been a contender for like 4 or 5 years.
I know.
And yeah, it's just strange.
And they're right back in it, to be honest. Like, they'll be in the conversation for one of the best NFC teams.
Yeah. Yeah, they will. Absolutely. All right. NBA preseason is back. A lot of players are back. Kawhi is back. Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., John Wall. Who am I missing? Damian Lillard. I think that's it. That missed a lot of time. That has already shown, like, been seen on the court. So the drama this summer has been the Brooklyn Nets and, of course, the Lakers.
I got a nice, healthy look at the Nets yesterday.
I did too. What'd you think?
Ben Simmons is a funny guy, man, because he took all that time off to come back the exact same player he was before. Did you see anything different about his game at all?
No.
I mean, he didn't even look to he took like one little fadeaway post move that was horrible.
It was ugly, yeah.
Like, he straight backboarded it. The Russ special.
On the side of the backboard too. Like,
oh yeah,
on the bottom right.
Yes,
yeah.
Dude, it's extra gross.
Yeah.
But besides that, like, one thing I was excited for him coming back, even if he was the same player, the Nets need him bad.
The Nets had no transition game last year. Now they
None.
have Ben Simmons. I would consider a top 5 transition player in the league. I mean,
100%.
I know people don't look at him that way because they don't watch him that much, but he is nearly unstoppable on the break, and you have to foul him. And now
Yeah.
the transition take foul, you can't. I mean, you may want to take it, but you can't foul him because now they're getting free throws in the ball back. But he's strong, he's fast, he sees the floor so well. That little drop off he did to Claxton, I didn't even see that coming. I mean, he sees the floor better than anyone on the roster, and that's going to change how they play altogether. And hopefully, it takes Kyrie and Durant off the ball more in those situations, and
No,
they'll have
that's
more scoring opportunities.
seeing KD and Kyrie off the ball is an automatic like positive to me.
Yeah,
And like their defense still looks horrible, but Ben individually blew up like a number of plays that the Sixers ran
yeah.
and just created either a turnover or created a bad shot. Like they needed at least that, and he's bringing that.
I'm gonna be honest. I think Ben Simmons is gonna win Defensive Player of the Year this year. I really do. He's my preseason pick for Defensive Player of the Year because I think those games will be on TV a lot more, and he's gonna be guarding everyone that Durant doesn't want to guard, which is gonna be everybody.
Big list, yeah.
Yeah, which is gonna be every wing or small forward, which we mentioned a couple podcasts ago. The East is stacked with small forwards.
Mm-hmm.
I think Ben Simmons will be guarding all of them, so we'll be able to see the full scope of his defense.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the steals he had, I think he only had 2 steals, but they were, I mean,
He has really good
no one else
defensive
can do.
instincts.
He does.
He has that like that one of the few things he does have from LeBron is just how he reads passing lanes. I mean, he's won games like predicting a guy making a bad pass.
He has, and if he's chasing you, because his IQ is so great, he can like he always gets people from behind because he can guess what you're going to do with the ball too.
Yeah.
Like he'll pick off a pass from behind you because he's like, "Oh, I'm seeing the floor, seeing the same floor he's seeing. Oh, he sees that person. I'm going to get there. I'm going to get that pass." So,
yeah. I mean,
he's
their
tough,
front
man.
court for the Nets, by the way, the front court situation looks bad. Like I thought.
Yeah, it does.
Like you're not getting away. Claxton is not giving you 38 minutes.
No,
And that's what you're setting up. If God forbid the backup looked decent, whoever he was, I'm not even sure who he was.
David Duke.
Yeah.
The yeah, David Duke Jr. Yeah, I think.
But
Or Edmund Sumner they have too. He's kind of
Sumner's like
forward.
a wing guard to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I just again, you need bigs to get stops, bro. Like you're
they
not
had Sharp. They run Sharp. Sorry. Yeah.
but you need bigs to get stops, and I just didn't see that.
They're not gonna get any stops.
That's why I'm not on
inside.
board with the defensive player of the year pick because they're still gonna be in shootouts.
No, Ben can be defensive player of the year with the rest of the team being trash. It happens.
Okay, that would be cool. If their
He might
record
lead
is
the
really
team in-
good, if their
he
record
might
is
lead the
really
team
good,
in
I
blocks.
think I could see that a little bit more because then he's really going to be contributing to them winning a lot.
Right. Gobert got defensive player of the year with their defense being cheeks.
That's different. That was
He's got
regular
it 3
season
times.
defense. They were playing great regular season defense, is what they were doing.
Sometimes.
Utah was playing Hall of Fame
Yes.
like 04 Pistons defense in the regular season, and then getting the playoffs. So who do we match up with?
Yeah. Yeah, true.
Let's talk about
They
Philly,
look okay though. Yeah, Philly looks. I mean,
that
we
rotation
didn't see
looks
everybody,
strong.
and this is all basically mostly backups.
Yeah.
Still don't know where Dible's going to fit into the roster. Paul Reed is a backup. D'Anthony Melton is definitely a backup. I'm thinking Maxi's going to start, but they have the option of not starting any of these guys other than Tobias.
I think Maxi's like a has to starter.
I think he is, but
I mean,
I don't know.
he was the best guard in the game last night.
Oh, for sure. For
Like
sure.
it
He looked
wasn't even
great.
close to me.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. But again, this is my only issue with Maxi ever is that when Embiid and Harden aren't there, Maxi looks like one of the best guards in the league. But for some reason, if they're all there, he doesn't put it together enough. Which is why I say if they didn't want to start him, they could do that. But I think he deserves to be a starter on this team, definitely.
I
But
think,
I could
to be
see
honest,
why
go
if
ahead.
Doc thought that was strategy, if Doc thought it was strategy, hey, he doesn't get it going as much when they're not in the game. Like a Jamal Crawford, like he had Jamal on the Clippers at times. As soon as CP and Blake were out the game, Jamal could drop 30. But when Jamal was in there with them, he may get
Yeah.
15, maybe. So I
I
could
was
see
pretty
Maxey being that.
negative when about the quote Doc had about all this stuff they could do with the lineup.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at this rotation again without Tucker, without House, without Embiid, without Harden, like
Yeah.
1 6-man probably and 3 starters.
Yeah. 4
So,
starter caliber players for sure.
and they look like they had an NBA ready rotation without those guys.
Yeah, they did.
So to me,
Yeah.
like this roster's complete. There's no flaw in just how this roster is put together.
There isn't. There definitely isn't.
They could survive a
Definitely.
month with Embiid being out. They could they're in a position to be able to bench Harden when he's playing god awful in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, no, Rockets had success doing that back when he was in
Yeah.
his prime. So
Yeah.
but like last year, to your point, Maxi's like the only other guard. So like you really can't bench Harden because you don't have anybody competent to put out there.
Right. And the problem was when you were benching Harden, Maxey had already played 30 minutes.
Right.
So now it's like we can't play Maxey 48 minutes tonight.
Right.
But
And I
now,
actually was impressed. Maxey and Melton looked really good together.
exactly. I was gonna say now with Melton, you have the option of really staggering their minutes.
Yeah.
Big time. Yeah.
And I also
You said Melton, right? Not Milton. Melton.
yeah, Melton, DeAnthony.
Yeah. Yeah, that's gonna get hopefully that doesn't get crazy in the season in the games. Melton and Milton. Shake.
No, but like Milton and Korkmaz look good because they've been part of the rotation. They know what to do.
I love Korkmaz, man.
He's
I
gotten
wish
so much
Korkmaz got more
better.
minutes. He has. He has.
And they even fixed the one legitimate rotation gripe I had with them last year, bro.
Niang?
Late off fourth quarter overtime signing. Montrezl fouled out in 12 minutes. I love it. He couldn't guard a soul, by the way, but I love it.
Yeah.
Because
he
now
would have a hard time guarding with them still.
yeah, and that's the thing though, like now you have an option between a more IQ based player who will kind of just fit, he'll just pass the ball, he'll take decent shots.
Who's that?
Niang.
Oh, yeah.
Versus now, I don't need that shit because I need an X factor. Now I'm putting a rebound machine out there.
Rebound machine, a lob threat.
Yeah.
Someone who will go. And Montrezl's not afraid to get dunked on. He'll go for blocks. He may foul, he may hack, whatever. You just need someone out there to bring some energy. Montrezl was the energy guy, one of the best energy guys in the entire league.
Yeah. And that's the thing, though. You don't kill Niang's confidence because you're not benching him every night. Because, I mean, Montrezl, he couldn't really contain like Royce O'Neal out of the pick and roll. So, he's not going to be playing massive minutes.
He's going to have a hard time against all the small ball teams. I mean, that's just not his game. And you would think it would be because he's a small center. But I mean, he really plays
Philly's
like a center.
built even for that. Because Philly,
They
to me,
are.
has no problem. They could bench both of them, and it's
I
not a
mean,
problem.
with PJ and House, who have both played a lot of 4 in their
Yep.
career already, and then Niang he can bring the ball up court on centers. Like if you got a center checking him, they're not going to take it from him.
Yeah.
He's someone who's mobile enough like that. Yeah, and then you have Tobias, who's huge. I mean, Dybul can check any position.
They
Reed
have
is a
so
shot
many
blocker.
wings now. They have so many wings that they can play small. They could play big. Like guys can miss time and they could like still stay afloat. I mean,
Yeah,
Doc, you got no excuse, my guy. None.
and trading for Melton really gave you another legit ball handler. So Niang isn't your backup ball handler, like you said earlier. Now you have another ball handler in Melton who can,
Like,
really
there's
be
no
your
excuse.
point guard.
Embiid shouldn't be playing 40 minutes a night this year. There's no reason for that.
No, unless he has 40,
Right.
he should be out of the game.
So
Max 30 minutes, 35 minutes.
to
Max.
me, this is a lob for Doc Rivers to kind of get his reputation a little bit back.
Yeah,
Because this team is put together perfectly to me.
they have to get to the Eastern Conference Finals this year.
I agree.
If they get beat,
Other than
by,
catastrophic, like Embiid, like an Embiid injury, God forbid.
this should be the Eastern Conference Finals matchup right here. Should be. If both these teams actually play to the absolute best of their ability, I would think that they would get to the Eastern Conference Finals.
I don't see it with the Nets, but Nets will be in the second round from what I saw. I could see that. They're not getting swept out the first round. Let's hope.
They should get past the second round. They should. They won't. I don't think they will either, but they should.
I don't see it, but all right.
All right. The other team who had a really astounding summer was the LA Lakers. They actually went out and signed Thomas Bryant. They picked up Patrick Beverly in a blockbuster trade. They picked up Juan Toscano Anderson. They picked up Damian Jones as their starting big man. Whoa. They picked up Lonnie Walker the fourth.
I don't think did he play yesterday? I didn't see him.
No.
Okay.
No. They picked up Dennis Schroeder back. Wow, got him back.
He didn't play yesterday either.
They even scooped up Dwayne Bacon from his couch.
They did? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, they got Dwayne Bacon. And
Dwayne Bacon was getting buckets in the G League.
They got the one flaw on Chicago's roster, but hey, one man's trash is another man's treasure in Troy Brown Jr. They even went and got Wenyen Gabriel back, who the AD stopper.
Oh.
So, hey man, what a roster. Anyway, they got beat by 30. So, how you get beat by 30 to the Kings in preseason, man? Getting beat by 30
the Kings,
in preseason.
I promise you, the first half, the Kings did not play well.
I believe you.
They were horrible, bro. Fox was throwing up horrible shots. Barnes was doing like the Tony Snell thing of just getting up and down. Like they'll pass him the ball, he'll move it. Like, bro, that's Niang does that. I thought you were a threat.
They started KZ Akpala.
Yeah.
He's a starter for them?
I mean, he started this game. I don't know if he's gonna be the starter. But I mean, the Kings are in like prime losing form. Sabonis came out missing layups, left-handed too. Like, really? So they didn't even look. The Kings didn't even look like they have gotten any better.
Malik Monk looked pretty good.
And
3 for 11.
Destroyed the Los Angeles Lakers.
Let me just list out some of the Lakers their shooting stats. Anthony Davis 4 for 9, solid, 11 points. Kendrick Nunn 4 for 7, solid. Westbrook 2 for 3, okay. Juan Toscano Anderson 1 for 5. Patrick Beverly, 1 for 5. Austin Reeves, 1 for 5. Scottie Pippen Jr., 2 for 7. And the GOAT himself, LeBron James, 0 for
Over.
7. Oh, and Damian Jones, their starting center, 0 for 3. Only 4
Oh,
rebounds. Wow. In 21 minutes.
the Lakers are just like in full mid-season form, dude. It was so funny to watch.
Wendy Gabriel took 8 shots.
Dude, like, why do you come down? You don't run anything. You just throw the ball to Anthony Davis. Bro,
I don't like that he starts
Milwaukee,
their offense so often.
bro,
I hate
Milwaukee
that.
doesn't do that with the best player on the planet.
Especially not in the post. At least, like, sometimes he does that thing where he catches it at the top of the key and then makes the next pass, and then he goes and sets his screen and gets open. Like, they give it to AD, like, in scoring position with 20 seconds on the shot clock left. And then it's over. The possession's over because he doesn't really make good passes out
Let's
of
be
there.
honest. They play like they're so fucking old. That's why energy guy. I thought it was a good idea to pick up guys like Thomas Bryant, guys like Toscano Anderson, guys like Pat Bev, because you had no energy last year.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that does nothing. That's not going to save them at all.
They need more than energy for sure.
That's what I'm saying. They need IQ, which I thought LeBron would bring, but that's looking less and less frequent.
He left that at home.
They need a dominant inside threat. AD's not that to me. I'm sorry. Like,
No, he's not.
he's just not consistent enough to be that.
No.
Russ is just there. Like, another year of Russ looking like the odd man out, whether he plays well or not.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, I promise you, I don't care how awful he is. I'm not blaming him for their struggles this year. And I'm not going to be surprised at all if he's awful.
Mm-hmm.
But LeBron and AD just like have made me sick this last year and a half.
Me too.
They've made me sick, bro. LeBron's coming off the fucking screens. He's hitting Pat Bev on the short roll. He's hitting Austin Reeves on a short roll. He's hitting Toscano. None of those guys I want setting screens and rolling to the basket.
There was a screen and roll with Pat Bev as the roll man.
Yes.
Wow.
Bro, LeBron is like, he tries so hard to look like a fucking maestro. Like, bro, can you just play, please?
Does I know exactly what you're talking about. That's why
fucking
it's funny.
irritating, bro. Preseason week 1, you're missing layups and you worried about running the fucking pick and roll with bums. I mean, how many times last year did they hit Austin Reeves for screen and roll layups?
I don't remember ever seeing it. Austin Reeves would just get open from other guys getting doubled on the back cuts, maybe for layups.
Bro,
maybe.
They're the only team. How are you so lazy offensively that you just throw the ball to AD and do nothing? Who, by the way, always has to wait 5 seconds for people to get out the way for the spacing to still be horrible.
Like, did you guys not know that was the game plan to give it to him? Like, what are you guys? Why is everyone standing there instead of overloading?
This team is designed to make coaches look bad.
Well, I mean, the coach designs whatever they're running.
You mean LeBron James and Anthony Davis?
Coach,
for sure, James? Bro. This is not like coached basketball teams don't play like this. I'm gonna be honest.
I believe you. Yeah, I mean, I don't think they would.
And they're so lazy offensively, they still don't get back. Still, we're like bad turnover. Everybody just gives up.
I dare them to do that in the season with Fox.
That's what I'm saying. That's the biggest reason they got blown out is they took so many bad shots and just didn't give a fuck about playing defense.
Yeah.
Like, bro, you're getting blown out by the entire league if you do that.
Yeah. I mean, every single player on the Kings' entire roster played in this game, and only one person didn't score, and that was Dellavedova, who only played 9 minutes. Everyone else got a bucket.
Bro, I mean, I thought they would learn a lesson from last year, getting destroyed by Houston, blowing gigantic leads to OKC, teams that were in the fucking lottery. Second and third pick in the draft.
Yeah. And Kings were fourth?
Yeah, fifth.
Yeah, lost
no, they
Kings
were fourth.
Fourth, yeah.
So you got destroyed by 3 of the top 5 drafting teams. That means that those are your contemporaries and you're not as good as them.
Right.
Like, they're projected to be the 9th seed. I think that's a little fucking generous, to be honest.
It is. And this is preseason. We never know what they get together in the season, but you can't come out this flat and this gross and lose by 30. I don't care. I don't care who's playing. We can't lose by 30, man. They didn't even play. The Lakers only played their top. How many guys played? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, they had 6 guys that didn't even play in this. 6, 7, 8 guys that didn't even play.
And none of those guys will fix their spacing.
No, they won't. When I say they didn't even play, my point isn't that they didn't have all their talent. I'm saying they were more top heavy than the Kings were, who played 16 guys. Guys that probably won't even make the final roster that got in the game and still got points against the Lakers, who basically had all of their only roster guys there.
I know.
So
and it's like you would expect a good organization to learn from what happens with a player on another team. Like, Miami was the only team high on Kendrick Nunn, and they still benched him. Like, Spoelstra was the only coach I could picture being like, yeah, this guy's really good.
And you know what makes it even worse? They benched him after he had just played good.
He had a good year.
So that means they know. That means it's either his work ethic, or they can see people surpassing him in real time, because unless he started playing bad in the season. I mean, Westbrook played bad all last season. He didn't get benched. Kendrick Nunn came off of second in Rookie of the Year voting and got benched.
Yep.
So it's like,
and he got benched at a place that liked him, and you brought him in as a starter. And after he missed the entire year, and he was still the lock to come in as a starter this year.
Right.
Good God. Who's he checking on contenders?
Nobody.
What contender could he go to and start? Not a single one.
None of them.
Not a single one. Bro, if the Clippers didn't sign John Wall, he could have went there and still not started.
He might not have played. He's not
100%.
playing over some of the guys they got on the bench.
100%.
Are you playing him over Kennard?
Hell no.
Exactly.
Kennard's like a better version of him.
And Kennard barely plays, so he's not playing. This is how bad the Lakers played last night. These players, in Cook, veteran, Chima Monecki, sorry if I mispronounced that, and Kent Bazemore, they played 8 minutes in this game, and they were plus 13. All 3 of them were plus 13 each in 8 minutes. For those who do not know how plus minus works, that means while you were on the court, your team scored that many more points than the other team. It was that much of a point differential in the other team. 13 in 8 minutes with Quinn Cook, Chima Monecki, and Kent Bazemore on the court.
I didn't know they re-signed Kent Bazemore, to be honest.
8 minutes and 8 seconds. And Keon Ellis and Neemias Queta played 7 minutes, and they were plus 11. So this must have been the 5 they had out there. Quinn Cook, Chima Monecki, Kent Bazemore, Keon Ellis, and Neemias Cada, and he went out there and schooled the Lakers.
There's 100 stats from this game that could point to how awful they were. I'll give you an even better one. Preseason first game, and you put up 3 fast break points.
With LeBron James on your team?
With LeBron James and Russell Westbrook on your team.
2 of the fastest players to ever play basketball. Arguably the 2 fastest players to ever play.
3 fast break points.
That's disgusting.
That's
disgusting. It really is. It really is.
First, bro, I promise you Sacramento was not locking up. I promise. Davion Mitchell was, because that's all he does, but none of those other guys were locking up.
They got outscored by 22 in the third quarter. And
that's like I said, they're in mid-season form.
And that's usually LeBron's thing is the third quarter. I don't know if he played. Did he even play the third quarter though, or were they already getting worked?
I turned it off by that point.
But they were up in the first quarter and still got beat by 30.
Yeah, dude. That's what I'm saying. They were playing horrible, and Sacramento was playing worse. And
they were up 27-21 and got beat by 30. And that means you got beat by 37 in 3 quarters. 36 in 3 quarters.
Like I said, prime mid-season form. That's what the Pelicans did to them at the end of the year last year.
Yeah.
Blew them out like 2 quarters.
It's gross. It sucks. They suck. Moving on. Some guys who looked really good. Jamal Murray looks fantastic. He's back after 529 games.
Oh, no.
I mean, I'm sorry, not games, days. 529 days. He's been gone since April of 2021. He looks so smooth, man. I mean, his legs look good.
Damn, he got hurt right before the playoffs in 2021.
I think it was the first round.
Oh man, that sucks.
Yeah,
I forgot it's been so long.
Yeah, so he's back. Michael Porter Jr. is back. I think Denver probably has the best starting 5 in the league now.
With those two guys healthy. Jesus.
Yeah, with those guys healthy, Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, Jokic, KCP, and Jamal Murray, I think is probably the best starting 5 in the league.
I forgot. KCP was a good trade for them, to be honest.
Yeah, he fits them better than Barton, I think.
Yeah.
At least on paper, he does. Then they still got Jeff Green, Bones Highland. They signed DeAndre Jordan. Not sure how much he helps, but yeah, for some reason the other bench was better. The bench is kind of weak.
They lost a couple guys. Didn't they get Bruce Brown?
They got Bruce Brown.
That's helpful. But they are thin. Like they don't like what we talked about with the Sixers. They don't have that.
They lost to Michael Green.
Yeah, they gotta keep their fingers crossed that the injury gods don't touch them too much this year.
Yeah, DeAndre Jordan actually looked revitalized with them. Maybe it's because they spread the floor so well that centers can go there and look pretty good.
I could see that. Yeah.
But they still lost to the Thunder, who just used every young talent that they had and just put them out there, and everybody looks pretty good. I don't have too much to say about them because they could look good in the preseason. They'll be terrible in the season. I don't think anyone expects them to make the playoffs.
I'll tell you what, if SGA is still playing 2 months into the year, I'll be more curious to see what they're doing.
If he's still on their team 2 months into the year.
That's very interesting to me if they make a move in some way.
Yeah, the Raptors really, really won because he's a Toronto kid, I believe.
Which would be crazy, by the way. That's a sick pickup for them.
Yeah, it would be really interesting. Depending on what they'd have to give up. I don't know what they'd have to give up, but I would like them to keep VanVleet and Trent and try to get them. That would be cool. And they have a hard time keeping guys. I think last year they had the that report came out saying that they had a hard time keeping a lot of the Black American players there. So getting a hometown kid, you would think they would be able to keep him forever.
Yeah.
I can't name someone from Canada that has been on the Raptors. Not that I know of. Could be wrong, but so that'd be
Drake's
interesting.
recruiting skills must suck.
I know, right? Yeah. Um, Clippers. John Wall, Kawhi are back after their long.
Yes.
Well, John Wall really hasn't really been hurt, but not last season. But he's back, healthy. Seems Kawhi is back after missing all of last season. And they looked pretty good. It's hard to gauge with them, but they looked interesting.
PG Allen or Paul Allen was looking good out there.
Yeah, he looks good. He looks good. He'll never get the credit he deserves because he keeps going to teams with other stars. But I mean, for him to have 7 rebounds in 16 minutes of this game, he led the team in rebounds from, the guard spot, basically.
I think spending that year without Kawhi, man, I think is going to be huge for the team.
I do too. Hopefully it will be. But the thing is, it all matters. It all comes down to how Kawhi treats it, Does he come in and say, hey, you guys been killing it. I'm going to fit right in. Let me just find the spots. Or does he say, all right, y'all had your fun. It's over with. I'm back. It depends what kind of teammate he is about it. I'll tell you one thing. They're going to move the ball well. They should be able to move the ball really well with this team.
See, that's the thing. They've done that with Kawhi. With Kawhi and PG's time there, they've been a good ball moving team.
Yeah, at times.
Especially when they've played well.
Right.
I'm really not concerned, other than them like really losing consistently. I think if they're 1 through 6, they're just as much of a contender as anybody. Like, to me, seeding doesn't matter. They got to make it through the year with Kawhi available, PG available, and hopefully most of the roster beyond that.
Yeah. Now, another team with a really stacked top 8, 9. We talked about that already, but
their wing rotation's crazy. I wouldn't be surprised if PG really starts doing point guard shit. They could throw out 3 other wings with him and Zubac and go crazy.
They could. Why never lets him have the ball that long? But you're right. If they do that, it would be crazy.
That's true.
Especially with Man and Morris didn't even play in this game. But they have Man, Morris, Kennard, Covington, Powell, Wall, Reggie Jackson.
That's one thing that's weird, by the way. Reggie looked like he took off when Kawhi got hurt.
He did.
And their chemistry when Kawhi was playing was never really that good.
He's one of those guys. He needs the ball. He's not a catch and scorer. He's not a short time with the ball kind of player.
Yeah.
He's a high usage guy.
So I'm curious if they figure it out. But all these are good problems to have to me.
They are. If they can get to your point, I'll just phrase it in a different way, or frame it in a different way, I should say. If they can get Kawhi to stay off the ball, they could be unstoppable. Ooh. Because if they let John Wall loose for him to get assists, if they let PG be able to handle the ball and kick outs, and they swing it around, and Kawhi can just do the catch and shoot corners or the cuts like he did last night very well, it's going to be so hard to stop. And just exploit mismatches. Because they can do that without Kawhi thinking he can, trying to take AD off the dribble or take, Marcus Smart from backcourt. It's just, he didn't have to go try to challenge himself on offense. They should never have to challenge themselves on offense on this team. I know. But they will. It's going to come, and I'm going to get frustrated about it. So I'm just preparing myself now.
I'm ready. I think they're going to be fine, man. I think Ty Lue, like regular season, they don't have any play style flaws to me that will cause them to lose consistently.
Right.
Even like with Kawhi, if he has a bad game, he's always next game he's chilling on the ISOs. He's a little more team involved. And they make that adjustment as a team, again, even in his limited time there or his limited time on the court.
They're a team, like you mentioned earlier about who did you say that about? I think the Rams. They're a team that they're just going to beat all the teams that are worse than them, no matter what. Like their defense is going to be locked down. They're going to run the floor well. They're going to shoot well enough to beat every team that they're better than. But when it comes to the playoffs and you need that full roster, like I think we were mentioning off air with the Warriors, you need that full roster past the big three guys to do it. That's where they need to figure out how they play, figure out their play style and get guys involved. Because like we said, when Paul George was doing it by himself and he could get Kennard and get Mann and all these other guys involved and they look elite, they need to do that with another elite guy in the playoffs. Because trust me, the other teams have guys on the bench that will be doing it. Because if you don't have a bench that can score 30, if your bench can't get 30, Poole will get 30 by himself.
Yep.
Bones Highland will get 20 plus by himself if he has to. I mean, they got guys out there that can do it.
Yep.
So the Clippers got to be able to keep up with that because we know the other guys, the Jokic's, the Stephs, are going to get their numbers no matter what. So,
yeah.
Another player missed all last season, Damian Lillard, is back and he looks really, really good. He looks spry. He looks smooth. Shot is butter. But the team looks no better. The rest of the team looks no better at all, if not worse. I know it's preseason. I know they didn't play their starters. They played their starters more than any of these other teams, though. Jeremy Grant played 27 minutes. Lillard played 23. Simons 25. Hart 24. Nurkic 21. They almost played a regular season game worth of minutes.
It bothers me that Grant, after emerging in Denver as such a high-level player, went to Detroit and now Portland.
Like two of the worst franchises in the league.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he's a championship. He's like a key championship piece to me. And there's a good chance we'll never see it. Because he's going to keep playing. Portland is going to continue to ask more than you should of him.
To be honest, I mean, I know this is a useless conversation now, but if the Clippers had traded like Morris for him and like got younger at that position, he would fit them so perfectly. He would be elite for them.
Bro, Grant, there's not a roster Grant doesn't fit.
But he plays best with point guards that can run the floor, with teams that move the ball, because he finds those spots and he's such a good mismatch. He's so athletic.
That's the thing to me. Like, even maybe with Philly, he wouldn't be a perfect fit, but he's so athletic that he's just as lethal.
The thing is, Portland has never been accused of moving the ball. Like, if you said, "Hey, you guys move the ball well," they would be offended by it. And it's not because, I mean, they're good. This is not what they do. This is not their game. And every time they've tried it, it just doesn't work. Or they get guys that they think they're going to be able to move the ball to, and they're terrible. Like Mario Hezonja. When they got him, I was like, oh, snap. They got somebody they could swing the ball to. No, they couldn't. They got when they got Covington, I thought they could swing the ball to him. No, they couldn't. They had what's his name? It just went to the Clippers. Powell. Thought they could swing the ball to him. No, they couldn't. Not really. So it was just
corner shots.
Yeah. Or like extreme like play breakdowns.
Yeah.
He was getting it. Yeah. And then Gary Trent basically had to steal it from everybody on his own team to get buckets. And that's just how they could win that, how they do play. It just they haven't had the personnel to do it. And Grant is not one of the guys, but I hope he does succeed on this team. I just don't really see him and Lillard being a good fit. But we'll see what happens.
I don't
a long season.
care about Portland. I just don't.
I want Portland to be good eventually.
I do want to see Simons and Lillard playing together, like what that looks like, how they kind of attack, and if it's different from how they did it with McCollum.
It has to be.
Because if it's not, I'm calling for Chauncey's job on the spot. I will not hesitate.
But Chauncey never coached McCollum.
That's fine. But Lillard has been there long enough. Nurkic has been there long enough. Grant is a legitimate third option, if not second option.
Yeah.
There's just like they've played a certain way, like you said, for so long, and they've won a lot of games all the time off of that.
They have.
But they're never a serious playoff threat. Utah, who's proven they're not a playoff threat, goes into the playoffs with more potential hype about maybe making a run.
Yeah.
Than Portland has ever done. And Portland has actually made a conference finals run.
Yeah.
So
the thing is,
they suck.
When they made that conference finals run, they got exposed of exactly how to beat them. And they haven't changed. They haven't fixed that problem. They got exposed because you could double Lillard. You could stretch Lillard away from the 3-point line. You can run him off the 3-point line. And then the rest of the team can't do anything.
Yep.
And guess what? This roster, without Lillard, can't do anything.
Nope.
Right now, Josh Hart, what are we expecting out of Josh Hart?
Just hustle.
Without Lillard there. He had 10 rebounds as a wing.
He does that all the time, bro. He's a rebounding machine.
Yeah, that's impressive, but doesn't help them in these games.
That makes me question what the fuck is Nurkic doing. He probably didn't even play yesterday, but
he played.
No,
he had 9 rebounds.
Good for him.
One less than the guard.
Listen, if he's playing like to his actual strengths and not the way he's played the last several years, then they're not a playoff threat, but they're like a play-in participant.
Yeah, they definitely could make the play-in this year. I expect them to make the play-in this year, and I mean that positively.
And Lillard is so good, and this is part of their problem. Like, of all the teams that fall on their superstars to carry the offense, Portland is the worst by far to me. Because
in what way? You mean worse? Like
because
how?
they break down the offense and just play drive and kick just because Lillard is unguardable.
Yeah.
Because you notice when Lillard gets strapped, they look just horrifying.
Yeah.
Like Giannis gets strapped, Milwaukee still looks competent. Tatum got strapped in the finals. Boston wasn't like abysmal.
Yeah.
I've seen it all over the league except the Lakers, if Lakers just suck. But to me, you have to find a way to be able to play well when your star is not carrying the team. And I've never seen that from Portland.
Portland looks like the 02 or the 01 76ers sometimes.
Yes, like 100%.
It's Iverson and nobody. And that's how they look. And they have guys better. It's just like, can we do anything without Lillard? And the problem is, just like Iverson, Lillard really doesn't get strapped. This is like a double team. And if you can't score 4-on-3 with the rest of the team, you can't win.
Yep.
And who did they play last year? Or 2 years ago, the Nuggets, when Austin Rivers was praying that Lillard wasn't hitting the shots. Austin Rivers was playing as good as defense as anyone could possibly play on Lillard, and he can't stop him. But when you have two guys on him, come on, you guys can't score 4-on-3. What else can you ask of Lillard? He can get 40 every night, but you guys have to contribute something, or someone else has to at least be dangerous. No one else is even dangerous on the team.
I'll say they're going to be fun to watch because they're getting up and down. They're getting they got a lob threat,
And there's going to be close games that Lillard clutches them through. It's always going to be Dame time in these games because they're not going to be blowing anybody out this season. I can't
I mean, they'll have a few hot
be
nights.
surprised.
I mean, the Lakers are easy dub most likely. They were an easy dub for them last year, were they not? They literally destroyed the
Lillard wasn't
Lakers
even there.
multiple times.
Simons had like a 50 piece on them or something crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my! I'm pretty sure they even beat the Lakers late in the year without Simons. I swear.
I think they did. Yeah, I think Keon Johnson had a really good game there. That game. I know what you're talking about.
So yeah, so the Lakers are a win, but to me, you can't play like really similar to how you played with McCollum, because then like you're just in shootouts all year like you have been, and maybe you go to the playoffs, maybe not, but it won't matter because you're not a threat in any capacity.
Right. I'm curious to see what the rookie does for them, Shaden Sharp. He did nothing for them in this game, but I'm curious to see what he does for them and when he warms up to the league.
It's weird because he hasn't played a ton of basketball.
Hasn't.
So
He's
it's
missed
gonna be weird.
like 2 years of basketball.
It's gonna be weird to see how he adjusts.
Yeah, well, yeah. They got Gary Payton the second as well, so that's good that
I like
he can
that.
take
That's a good piece.
He can take the defensive pressure off of Lillard, which is nice. I like Wes Iwundu too. Not sure where he's been. He's a solid player, solid backup guy. He had a good career in Orlando for a little while, but
I would like to see them go really small, to be honest. I
he
know
just
it
want
won't.
Nurkic off the floor.
Nah, I don't mind it with Nurkic. I don't mind him being the one like true big, but
Okay.
like you're gonna be getting in shootouts every night anyway. You might as well go full blast with it.
So give me like, what are you saying? Like, what would be the small? They don't have a power forward other than Grant anyway.
Simons, Lillard,
Hart. They got Nazir Little, who's
he's if Nurkic is coming out, I don't mind Little at the 5.
Yeah,
He's
Little
like
and
that to me.
Little and Grant down low.
And Sharp is like 6'7", isn't he? He's like 6'6", 6'5".
I think he's 6'5". I think.
There you go. 4.
But he's 6'6". Yeah.
6'6". There you go. I got two guys, Hart and Sharp. Maybe not are the biggest guys, but they'll battle.
Yeah.
And you're getting up and down. You're getting more spacing now. Even when Nurkic makes bad decisions, which he will, like it just looks more competent. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, and Gary Payton, you could put him at the 3 if you have
100%.
to. I mean, Warriors did it; they could do it. Yeah, just for defensive purposes. And Simons is so long and jumps so freaking high; he can play 2, 3 anytime.
I want to see more like versatility to the roster beyond Damian Lillard. Like Dallas is a team I could use as an example. They still find a way to succeed without Luka on the court.
Right.
We're not expecting Luka to get in shape so he could play 48 minutes because they're awful.
Right.
Like there has to be some level that you could do something beyond the star player. And I just don't see it in Portland.
The other thing is just there's just no, like I said, no consistent threat for them. I mean, even the guys who aren't very good on Dallas are consistent threats. Like, what's my man from UNC that had the good season last year? Yeah, Bullock he's been a consistent 3-point shooter for the Knicks, for the Spurs, for every team he's been on. So he's someone you can count on. There's, as much as I like Hart, I have no idea what Hart is going to do every night. No clue. If I pass it to him, I don't know if he's going to hit the shot. I don't know if he's going to drive. And Grant, as good as Grant is, I know Grant is going to give me energy and athleticism, but as far as like quantifiable stats, I don't know what I'm getting from Grant every night, which is part of what makes him good, but also part of what the Portland needs that he doesn't have.
But you see, they've given us, like, Powell was the perfect example of that you really didn't know how he was going to score, if he was going to be aggressive. And it looked bad because he'd be out there for no reason a lot of the time.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is, as soon as Gary Trent got consistent, they traded him, which is like the most bizarre thing. Like, yo, Gary Trent became like a knockdown shooter, elite defensive guard, like almost a Patty Mills kind of scrappy. He'll get a big time
Perfect
steal
guy to
in the
play with
moment.
Dame. Perfect
Yeah,
guy.
and then all of a sudden, oh, he's so consistent. Let's trade him. Like I never understood that. Every time someone gets this consistent, they let him go.
Like the whole Powell like timeline in hindsight, like you're just looking at Portland like, what the fuck are we doing? You trade, like you said, one of the most consistent players you've developed in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Then you quickly move him for a wild card piece. You don't really commit to the wild card piece on the court, yet then you pay him a ton of money just to trade him anyway.
And trade the other consistent piece you had in Covington, who, even though he wasn't playing that great, at least he has a solid role.
Right.
He's 3-and-D. There's no 3-and-Ds on this roster anymore.
On a team full of drive and kick guys. Or yeah. on an organization that the last 15 years has played drive and kick basketball.
Yeah.
It's just weird.
So
it's weird. Their roster moves just too many times. I'm looking at it like, why?
Yeah.
And I hate that. Even if I don't agree with it, I still want to understand why you do something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, last basketball topic. Buddy Hield and Myles Turner. We have to talk about it because the Lakers are really being bizarre and considering making this trade after training camp has started, which I don't understand. They had all summer to do this. Training camp starts and they say, hey, we're still looking into Buddy Hield and Myles Turner.
They probably saw those Pelinka popped up in those first couple practices.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah, no, this isn't working.
All those missed shots, those were terrible.
Oh, yeah.
Shots were gross. So I need you to give me some teams, man. What teams should make this trade before the Lakers do? I don't think the Lakers are going to do it, but I
got a good team.
If I was a roster that was considering it, I would try to make the trade before the Lakers did it, because I do think that trade definitely helps the Lakers, but it could help a lot of other teams too. Probably better than the Lakers.
I'd say Boston.
Boston.
Yes.
Now who they trade?
I would trade Robert Williams, and I'd trade
Robert Williams.
Yeah.
Because he gets injured all the time.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And I got to throw somebody else in, somebody good, somebody decent.
They can even trade picks.
Yeah, I guess the number of picks. But Buddy gives them like a basic perimeter threat. And he's really not, like, he could be more than that. But like that's what they're missing with Brown and Tatum, is that for the team to sustain playing well, a lot of times either one or both of them have to just be like basic shooting threats.
Well, similar to what we were just talking about with Portland, they have no specialty players on this team. Everybody, their players just do everything. It's just like, oh, Brown plays defense, he hits threes, he goes to the basket. Tatum plays defense, he hits threes, he goes to the basket. Horford plays defense, he hits threes, goes to the basket. Smart plays defense, his threes, has to move the ball. Like, there's no, hey, just go in there and do this. And that would be perfect for them if they had Buddy, because they would have someone, hey, you just go in there and you just hit some shots. That's all we needed to do.
And it's like the reason I like it is because you have a rare moment that, like, Robert Williams is still a loss, but Myles Turner makes up a lot of the defensive things he could do.
Myles Turner has led the league in blocks on multiple occasions. Right. So, he does.
It is kind of
and he spreads the floor.
Like, he's been on the Pacers for a long time and done playing like bullshit for a long time, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. Maybe I'm overestimating his production, but like Robert Williams, he's coming into this year hurt.
Yeah.
He's out for like another month. Just a few days ago, it came out.
Yeah.
Too many times, bro. He's the last like 2 playoff runs. He's hurt, and he gets in the game. He could jump for 100 shots, yet he's like he can't get up after the jumps.
I would trade both Williams and Derek White for Hield, for Buddy and Turner.
See,
Turner gives you what both Williams do in one body. I mean, Turner, he shoots. I mean, Grant Williams gets a lot of threes off, but if Turner got the same amount of threes off, I'm not sure Grant Williams shoots better than Turner. Not much. Turner just never shoots 6 or 7 threes in a game, never. So, and then he gets the blocks that Robert Williams does, and then Derek White, another guy who they want to do all these things and really isn't good at any of the things they ask him to do.
And I just can't picture Myles Turner not being really productive with the kind of threats Boston has on the floor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, think about all the bad shots Tatum takes. If anything, that's like more rebounds for him to get.
Yeah. And Robert Williams really isn't a scorer inside at all.
Right. He's like the Chandler type. Yeah.
And Turner has a decent little hook. If you give it to him short, if you back up on him, short jumper, he hits that short jumper almost every time.
Yeah.
If you back up off of him. So, and he can catch lobs. But not like Robert. Robert Williams catches ridiculous lobs.
Not yet.
That's a good trade.
You do miss like how good of a lob threat he is.
Hey, we got Blake Griffin.
That's a good pickup. Shout out for that pickup.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about else? You? Give me another team. Let's go one by one.
I said it may sound crazy, but I like the Rockets. And not that it would make them a playoff team, but I think that the team is really, really young, obviously. But in need of vets to make that push to the playoff caliber. I don't think that they have no reason to get any younger, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But I think having Myles Turner there, let's say you trade Eric Gordon and they just picked up Derek Favors. Let's say they trade Derek Favors and Eric Gordon, and you go into your games with your starting 5 is Porter Jr., Jalen Green, Buddy, Jabari Smith, and Myles Turner. I just think that's a starting 5 that can easily compete for the playoffs. I mean, right away. That's a starting 5 I think could go to the playoffs right away. You get your vets. You get a guy like Buddy. Like I said, you have someone who goes out there and just does one thing with these young guys. You get a shot blocker, someone who can make those outlet passes so they can run with this team. Someone who can hit shots, spread the floor. I think it would take them to the next level for a young team that is hard to get to with a trade. I just don't think they need to keep drafting with this team. I think they're like drafted out. They have all the talent they can get from the draft. They have Kmart Jr., they have Tate, they have Josh Christopher. They got all these guys from the draft. There's no more drafts. We don't need it. Yeah. Now it's time to get some vets, get some guys who know how to play, know how to win. I think it would help them a lot. I think that if you have Green, who really should emerge this year, you have Jabari Smith, who just give me 15 and 8, give me 12 and 8 this year, and Terry Eason, who had 20 in their preseason game, who looks really, really good. I think it would make them a playoff team. Honestly, I think it would jump them over Portland. It would obviously jump them over San Antonio. Probably would get them as good as the Utah team, as what Utah has this year.
Is Silas still coaching them?
Yeah.
He's a guy we're gonna come back to him mid-season and really see what he's made of.
Yeah, because there's good coaches at home right now.
Because this team has no reason to not make like a huge leap from lottery to minimum a play-in contender.
Yeah, because if these guys are in the lottery again, what do you get?
Right.
I have a point guard. I have shooting guard who may talent-wise may be one of the
I
most
even like
talented.
the big man they have, the backup
Sengun?
big man. Yeah.
Yeah, Shingun. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's good. And I would definitely keep him. If you made a trade, I would definitely keep him. It puts up Mo Harkless. You got K Martin. You got Jayshawn Tate. I don't know if you were in the lottery. I don't know what position I would even draft because we're good at every position.
Right.
And Eric Gordon just does stuff that they have younger guys that do it more prolifically. So there's just no reason to keep Eric Gordon.
Yeah, he's probably going to be talked about up until the deadline, to be honest. Especially if they're good. If they're good, I can't imagine he's like a key reason for it.
Right.
So, I mean, granted, Gordon has surprised me on a number of occasions because he's had a good like 2 or 3 moments now in his career where he looks washed up. He's out. He's like for several years, he's in and out of the lineup. And then all of a sudden he's like in 6-man form.
Yeah.
Like getting buckets. Because so he could do that. I wouldn't be surprised if he did that this year. But if anything, I'd still that raises his value and you could do more with that to me.
Yeah, you're right. You're definitely right. I mean, he might be a good trade piece for them, and you never know what they get for him, especially him and Favors, Favors at this point in his career would be a good backup for or center for a contender right now, probably. The way small ball is in the league. So
yeah. I think he
can't
sucks,
start anymore though.
Oh no. I take a lot of backups over him.
Oh yeah, he won't be the best backup in the league, but I mean, it's solid backup. Yeah. He doesn't help them. He doesn't help the Rockets.
No, not at all.
Yeah, so
no way he's really playing unless guys are out.
Right. Give me your next one.
Dallas, staying in Texas.
Yeah.
This is a slam dunk for Dallas to me.
Absolutely.
Hardaway Jr., like we saw that, yeah, you help us, but we're not desperate for you as a guard. Or
another guy who can't stay on the court.
Exactly. He's always hurt. He's missed. I mean, how many last 2 playoff runs I feel like he's missed? Or he missed last year for sure. He
gets hurt every playoffs.
Yeah.
Every time we get to the playoffs, he gets
all
hurt
the time. And now, which I would assume probably Kleber would be the other player you throw in there.
Yeah, and some got to be some picks.
And you'd have to include a pick or 2.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, honestly, I'd understand if Wood had to be the piece that you move, even though you just got him.
Maybe Bertans. He's probably contractual.
You definitely got to throw in. You definitely got to throw in good picks if Bertans is in the trade.
He would help contractually because he makes way too much money, and I know Turner and Buddy both make a lot of money. So I don't think just Hardaway. Well, Hardaway makes a lot of money too, so I may take that bet.
Like this is just a slam dunk to me. You get a versatile big who'll play off of Luka. The way Turner plays, he's gonna play off of your best player.
Yeah, and he gets out the way.
Right. And then Buddy obviously is. They got a number of guys who Buddy would love to take their job.
Yeah, and Buddy and Hardaway. To your point, Buddy and Hardaway, it doesn't make sense having both of them. It doesn't. No. You probably could trade Bullock. I don't care how good he played last season. You still don't outshoot Buddy.
Yeah. I would say Finney-Smith is the only non-Luka rotation player that I wouldn't think about trading for that duo.
Yeah. Dinwiddie and Finney-Smith.
Yeah, Dinwiddie too.
Are the only locks. Yeah. No, you're right. That's good. We don't even have to get deep into that. That's obvious.
Yeah, Dallas is basic. Stuff. Like the way they play is very simple. Those guys will fit right in.
Yeah, they would. Yeah. Spread the floor. Yeah. My last one would be Atlanta, and I say Atlanta because at this point they just need others. They need more others on this team. You got the star talent, leads the league in scoring, leads the league in assists. I mean, we already know what he can do. We got young players, developing players. We're good on that. John Collins is someone who's an obvious starter, um, good side piece, not centerpiece, but good number 2 or 3 on your team. But now we have these guys that are stale. Bogdanovich is stale. Capella, it might be time to move on. We got guys who are just taking up roster spots. Jarrett Culver, they got for what? Um, Trent Forrest. I'm looking at some of the other guys they got. They got some of these other young guys that they just are not going to use.
Still
Go ahead, let them
strange.
go.
I don't know why they didn't give Reddish more of a chance.
Yeah, and they traded him for Knox and then didn't even play Knox, which
Nah,
was
they didn't.
kind of crazy.
You know,
So at this point, oh, go ahead.
I just think Atlanta they're not as simple as Dallas, but what they need is pretty simple to me. It's where like all the guys you mentioned are kind of like stuck doing like Bogdanovich just jacks. He really doesn't give you meaningful production in any other way. Capella is very limited to what he could do. So just those two guys who are key rotation pieces, you switch them out with Buddy, who Buddy doesn't need the ball to take good shots. He doesn't have to run the offense to have a rhythm, which Bogdanovich seems to do all the time.
Right.
And Turner, maybe he's not the rebounding and lob threat, but he could just do more.
And they're at the point where, listen, Collins has been dunking on all over people for the last 3 seasons. We have a lob threat.
I know.
We don't need 3 lob threats on the court at the same time. They just have, it's Trey, someone who really doesn't shoot that great, and a bunch of lob threats on the court. This is not. When we're talking about Dallas, we look at Dallas. Dallas has Luka. We have shooters everywhere. Maybe a lob threat in there sometimes, maybe not. Someone else who can handle the ball. If Atlanta could find that same mold, they got the other person who can handle the ball. Bogdanovich should never take more than he should be taking play dribbles this season, which I know he won't.
And he's shown that he's a capable enough shooter that he could dominate like that.
Yeah.
But he very rarely plays like it.
Right. And the thing is, I'm not sure if he still can. He could at one point, but because I haven't seen it the last 3 seasons, I don't know if he can anymore.
Yeah.
But I know Buddy can. So, like you said, just switch those two out. You get a whole different dynamic to your team. And you get guys out of the paint. When Trey drives and he's stuck in the paint, and once Capella leaves the paint, he might as well not be on the court because he can do nothing.
Exactly.
He doesn't make good passes. He doesn't set good screens. He does nothing outside of the paint. And then you have Turner who can do everything outside of the paint.
But
and like you still Atlanta, have a lob threat.
That's why I'd make this move, to be honest, because Atlanta has attempted to correct like how the problems they had in the playoffs, where Trey's getting locked the fuck up because the roster is keyed in on him.
Yeah.
And we are incompetent.
Similar to what we said about Portland.
Right. So with Murray was the obvious, like, vital piece to fix that.
Yep.
But now you get these rotation players that are a little more versatile, that could adjust to like, again, Trey's not playing well. I got to do more today. Buddy could do that. Yep. Bogdanovich can, but I don't trust him to.
Bogdanovich can, but if he doesn't do it,
you guys horrible.
Are going to lose by 30. Yeah.
Yeah, he makes he just makes you play so much worse.
Yep. Yeah. And who was it? Miami showed exactly what the Lakers did in the bubble against Portland. Mm-hmm. Miami doubled Trey 40 feet from the basket. And then once Trey gave the ball up, Atlanta had no idea what to do next.
Yep.
Herder was lost.
We've seen this. We've seen this with Utah also. They take Mitchell away, and you throw it to Royce O'Neal, and he's lost. You throw it to the other Bogdanovich, and he's lost.
Anywhere but the corner, Bogdanovich had no idea what to do with the ball. So And now you have
Ingles, too.
DeJounte. Yeah, Ingles too. And then Ingles would throw bad passes. It's like Ingles thought, okay, Mitchell can't have the ball. Let me get 10 assists. And he ends up with like 6 turnovers. And the other team is, running up court.
Yeah.
Now, double Trey, we have another guy who can average 10 assists in a game. Average. Not just get a good assist night. He may get 12 assists just because you're doubling Trey. And
And that's why Murray is such a perfect piece, because he could fit whatever Trey is not doing that day.
He can, yeah.
So
Defense.
this is really a match made in heaven to me.
And you better not double Murray, because one, if you're not on Trey for a catch and shoot, and if you think you can check Murray that far from the basket, I mean, I don't think he's the fastest player in the league, but he may be one of the quickest players in the league.
He's one of the best slashers for sure.
He is. I mean, I watched some of his highlights from San Antonio for the last 2 years. From half court to the free throw line, I'm not sure if anyone is quicker than him in the league, honestly. Because his first step and his length, his arms and his legs are so long. Once he gets that one step on you, you can't recover.
Yeah. He's one thing that people haven't noticed is that he's no longer a liability from the perimeter.
He isn't.
Like, he does just enough to keep you honest, where you gotta be in the airspace, in the vicinity of him shooting the ball.
Yeah. And he's somebody, if he hits one and you ever go for it again, you can forget he's gonna score all night.
Yeah.
If he hits the first one and you like, oh, let me go out there, he's gonna blow right past you. So yeah,
that's what would be interesting, because he'll probably get more just basic open shots on this team than he ever did in San Antonio.
Yeah, he will. Yeah, yeah. Him and Trey should be fun, man. And they got Justin Holiday, they got Kaminsky now, who are guys who probably won't get a lot of minutes, but they don't give you a lot of worthless minutes.
No,
neither of them are great players, but they come in and they do something all the time. They're out there, not like Tony Snell just out there running up court.
Yeah, Holiday's a legitimate 3-and-D threat.
He is, absolutely. Yeah.
Unlike Tony Snell, who pretends to be.
Yeah. And Kaminsky goes out there and battles. And another, decent
he's a
shooter.
versatile. Again, he could roll, he could pop, he could get a shot for himself. Like, that to me, that's what I want to see when we get to the playoffs with Atlanta. I know Trey is great, but I got to see more from the team.
Yeah. And I think I forgot who they have over there. I want to say it's Landry Fields they have as their front office guy. But I do think they're
wow, that was
you didn't know that?
Great Knicks throwback. I did not know
that. I think he works for the I could be wrong. I think he works for the Hawks though.
He played for them for a little bit, right? When he was or no, it was Toronto. I remember he was sitting on Toronto for a while.
Yeah, he played for Toronto. Yeah, Hawks promote assistant GM Landry Fields to general manager. Yeah, this summer.
That was a quick fall off. What the fuck happened to him?
He's 33 now.
He's 33.
Yeah,
dude, that's wild. I don't know. You remember this shit with Markelle Fultz and everybody was trashing the shooting coach?
Yeah.
His shooting coach should never work again, bro, because he was a lights out sniper rookie year and then broke the next year.
Yeah, I think it was his third year. He was really
third,
bad.
yeah. He had 2 years.
Yeah, he had 2 good seasons. Yeah,
he had like a specific I'm gonna work on my shot summer, and he came in and fucked it all up.
Yeah, what Herter did for Atlanta was basically how Fields was for the Knicks.
Yeah, and Justin Holiday is a better piece for what Herter did to me than he was.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. I liked how Herter
a little bit more limited.
Yeah, because I was gonna say I like how Herter was also sneaky athletic, and he ran the floor pretty well. If Herter was on the break, he was gonna dunk it. He was gonna try to dunk it on you.
That's one thing Holiday does. He's a chucker. He's a gunner, as they say.
Holiday will just run right to the corner on the break.
Yeah, wide open dunk. He'll run right to the corner.
Yeah, Herter used to go try to put it on somebody every night whether you could or couldn't, you try, which I used to like, but they're not going to miss that too much. To your point. What I was going to say is Landry Fields and the GM squad, whoever else they have, I think are trying to wait and see what Murray does with the team that they already have. And I don't think they should. I think they should just go ahead and pull the trigger, make these trades. There's a lot of trades to be made still that could help this team immediately.
But I'm not mad at it, to be honest. Like I get the thought process of let's give it a bit of a trial run. If anything, they're coming up on the deadline with a better idea of what they should do. Like maybe Capella is dominating on the glass and they really don't need Turner.
Maybe they don't need Collins.
Right. So
the thing is, the other amazing thing is this team, we talk about a lot of young teams. This team has the best players that are still young, I would say. Celtics are up there, obviously. The Celtics still have 2 starters that aren't young at all. I mean, think about it. Capella is probably the oldest player on this team.
Yeah.
Right? And he's 28. I mean, I think he's the oldest player on the whole roster. Well, Bogdanovich is 30, but league-wise, he's not that old.
Mm-hmm.
Trey's 24. Murray is 26. Capella's 28.
I
John
love that,
Collins
dude. They really could have like a 6-year backcourt.
Exactly.
I want to see that.
John Collins is 25. Like, that's it. Trey, John, and DeJounte could be together for, like you said, 5-6 years. So, and then, Hunter's are starting 3. He's 24. Just graduated, basically. Yeah. So,
nah, man, they're exciting. There's so much upside with this team.
To your point, I also could see, but Bogdanovich is the only one I don't see any reason of keeping him at this point. I think they've seen enough.
Yeah, that's the thing is I've seen everything he could do, like
everything and more. Yeah. I've seen more than I want to see that he can do. So yeah. So we'll see. Curious to see what AJ Griffin does for them as well. I thought it was kind of an odd draft choice for them.
Yeah, maybe they'll throw him out there to hit some shots. I still don't think he could do that, but
I don't either. And they weren't hurting at forward.
Right.
He's only 6'6". It's not like he's that versatile as far as what he does. So
I can't picture him guarding a single starter in the league.
Especially a small forward. Again, in the East. Small forwards in the East.
Oof.
They expose. Even backups. So
Oladipo, Miami might throw him out at the 3 just for you to get exposed. Oladipo.
Exactly. Yeah. So all right. Good deep dives. You got anything else to NBA to talk about?
We talked about Phoenix last week, so I'm gonna let him slide today.
Yeah, I'm not.
We're pretty late into the episode anyway, so I'm gonna let him go today.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, we don't need to rehash it because I think what we said last week was enough to show our confidence in them. But hey, it's preseason, so we'll see what happens. 2 weeks, 2 more weeks. So, real quick, the Warriors looked really good. Wiseman looks great.
Yes.
I talked about the players that came back. I was just thinking of last night. Wiseman looked really good. Y'all looked good though.
Yeah, we're offensively we look very good.
I did not expect you guys, the Wizards, to come out with that much energy in a preseason game.
Yeah,
could be good, could be get bad though, but I think it's good.
I'm very curious how Kuzma follows up last year because he played really well, and it was really it was way more consistent than I expected. So now the team is much better. It's much healthier. Beal is back. So I'm curious if that translates to that 10-3 start they had last year.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, with more firepower on the court, I am curious to see how Kuzma is because he's another one of those guys. When nobody's there, Kuzma, tear the league up when
I'd
nobody
like to
else out
see
there.
a lot more of Porzingis at the 5, and he doesn't really have to play like way different than what he likes to do.
Yeah, yeah. As long as Rui and Kuzma are getting rebounds, which
They
they
normally
tend to
do.
fade out sometimes. Yeah, I mean, Rui more than Kuzma, but yeah, sometimes. Yeah.
I just
The thing is, once they get on the same page and they know, all right, Porzingis is about to take this shot, then they can get there. But when Porzingis first got there, I could see the confusion of like when Porzingis was gonna spread out versus when they were going to, and then you guys missed a lot of chances for rebounds because there was no communication about somebody needs to get inside or somebody needs to crash,
yeah.
that kind of thing.
I mean, the Wizards are another team similar to Houston where midway through the year we got to look at the coaching because this is a team that should be winning a good amount of games.
I would think so, yeah.
And
Yeah.
I like that the like Kuzma, Rui, Porzingis, and Gafford. I
Yeah.
like that front court rotation as a whole.
Me too. Yeah. And Taj Gibson is a nice vet. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he's like a no negative guy.
Yeah.
His plus minus will be 0 every night. Does
Yep.
nothing, but yeah, I like that too a lot. Yeah. Thing is with you guys, with the Wizards, I will say, um, who'd you just compare them to that we talked about? Uh
Houston.
oh, Houston. The difference is they rely more on one player than most other teams. Like if Beal isn't having a good season, that alone could be the reason why you guys aren't winning games.
Yeah.
Like it could just be because Beal isn't playing that good. Which if he is playing good, it could be the chemistry, which would fall on the coaching. So I agree with you though; they should win some games.
And last year, a lot of their struggles were like I really didn't like how Beal was playing
Exactly.
because he was shooting the ball poorly, and the shots were still going up like he was averaging 34 the year before.
Yeah.
So again, and this team is just a little more versatile. Like they're much healthier coming into the year.
Mm-hmm.
There's no need to force shots all the time.
Right. You're right though. Yeah, definitely right. So I'm excited for them. And to your point, I think all these teams that have a new coach, inexperienced coach, stale coach should I mean, coaches are on the hot seat because like we've said multiple times, you got Quinn Snyder, you got Vogel at home right now.
Didn't
Those are
Vogel
two.
join somebody's staff?
Um,
I
did
might
he?
be.
Maybe,
I'm not sure. I'll come back to that.
but I mean, still is. If he's not
Still
head
available.
coaching, he's available. Yeah, I mean, someone that of his
I'll tell you now,
caliber, if
if
he's not head
Boston is in
coaching,
shambles the first 2 months of the season, I'd go get him without hesitation. Can't imagine what
Boston's
shambles
already
would
in
look like for
shambles.
them, but
Yeah,
I think they're going to be fine, at least like just game to game.
yeah, but no, you're completely right. I mean, even Terry Stotts is out there somewhere, you know, not head coaching. So you got guys who have a lot of experience. If my coach doesn't have a lot of experience and I'm not seeing what I like, I'm not liking what I see so far. Yeah, got guys out there. Shoot, I if Boston is struggling, they get somebody. I'm looking at the guy that's suspended for the year. If they fire him, I mean,
Yeah, I can see it.
what are we talking about? Like, there's guys out there. If my team is struggling, I'm not. That's that was a Celtics issue. It wasn't
Hey,
any other issue. So
I don't know. You don't want that leaking into your locker room?
hey, if I'm a GM and I'm a single
Yeah,
guy, I
no, I'm
mean,
with you. I'm with you. I understand.
yeah, no, but You're definitely right. There's coaches on the hot seat for sure because there is a lot of really good coaches that just are not out there with a job. I actually liked the Charlotte coach that they fired. I liked what he did for Charlotte. I
Yeah,
wouldn't mind.
James something.
Yeah, what was his name?
James. It was something simple, I thought.
No,
James.
no. Uh, he used to coach with the Spurs. Charlotte coach. Wow, they just don't have him up here. Have his name up here anywhere.
That's crazy.
Borrego.
James Borrego,
Yeah,
right? Okay.
yeah, James Borrego. Yep, I liked him.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm a team like the Wizards that are kind of in a we're not sure if we're building, we're not sure if we're rebuilding, we're not sure if we're contending place. I think I'd try him out.
I could see that.
Yeah, I'd try him out. And I mean, if I'm the Rockets, I would go for someone with a lot of experience, but you got a good mix of guys. I think Borrego's interesting.
Jason Kidd would have had the Rockets like in the finals this year. Like just Jason Kidd, just the way he coaches, like that's the pinnacle of what I want for the Rockets.
Yeah. I think you're right. You'd have them. They'd be really, really tough. I know that. They'd be tearing people up. Yeah, especially as tough mentality as the guys they had already were.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. All right. Well, that is it for us. Thank you for listening as always. Follow and subscribe, turn on notifications, and we will see you guys next week.